we're going to go over the best places to put your base in Grounded 2. This is going to purely be based on a few criteria / opinions of my own. There are a few things that realistically I think we should take into account so that you have access to as much as possible. The first thing is a ranger base, and the reason for that is because we obviously need to scan stuff, and even if you have completed the current content of the game, more is going to be coming. So there's still going to be more things to scan, more things to spend science on, and it just makes sense to have your base close to a ranger outpost. So that's one of the criteria that we consider with this. You either want to be close to one, or you want to be like close enough that it's not annoying to go and visit it. Next up, at least for now, you want to be somewhere that is in between the pine hill up at the top and the ice cream cart at the bottom. The reason for this is because this is where all of the berries are currently. So there are blueberries at the bottom and lingonberries up at the top. It's actually along this hedge on the left hand side. Both of those are involved in crafting things like armor and constructing different stuff for your base. You want to have decent access to both of them, and so that kind of almost creates a line for us here where we're going to have the best access to both of those. The same thing also goes for the fire pit, which has some heat related materials, and the ice cream cart itself, which has some ice versions as well. These have varying uses, but often they're used in things like weapons at the moment. Additionally, I also think you want to have decent access to something like acorns, which at the beginning of the game, the range outpost actually has good access to acorns up to the north. Things like dry grass, weeds, and just in general a good selection of materials so that you can use them. This actually ends up pushing you further north currently because the milkweed stuff, so if you want thatched roofs, grows around these posts right here. So you could be pretty tempted to go up towards the north. That way you're going to have more building materials to make your base look nice. I've opted to go with something that's more towards the east because I want to start stockpiling and building up just a nice, cool looking main base ready for when we get to go further east on the map. With that being said then, the first place that I'm going to suggest is, as you can see us right now, is right outside the ranger outpost. You've probably seen it. There's enough flat space here to build yourself a nice little building so that you've got some cool stuff. It doesn't look like a mess, and you can fit all of the facilities and everything that you need to build for the ranger challenges. There is an alternative if you would prefer something a little smaller. If we head up the road here, which I think takes us kind of on a southern track, and we don't want to go this way, we want to go up onto the ledge and then follow this upper part across. We just follow the ledge until we reach this part, and you can build across to that wood over there, and that gives you a very safe platform, so you won't need a building to take cover in or anything like this, and you can just kind of build out and off of the platform, give yourself a bridge. And this gives you very instant access to things like the acorns of the early game, because they all actually spawn up here, and so therefore that is safer. It may be like better for solo playing. I've been playing with a group, right? This is something that you consider. I would just build a bridge across and out there, and then you can have like a safe zone over underneath the table. Nothing spawns up there. I've not seen anything go up that way. Just a kind of nice little alternative there if you want a secondary starter location. Most of the spots that I'm going to show you are going to look fairly similar to this one. All of these have a decent flat space out the front of them. You can choose to build whatever it is that you want to build there. In particular though, the ranger outpost trash bags, obviously I'm not up there right now, actually has a pretty large flat space up there. One of the guys started building something, we'd never finished it, but there is a huge flat space up there, so you can build something pretty big and impressive on that if you want to. Like I said before, you're going to have good access to all sorts of materials because you're going to have the milkweed along here, you'll have the pine along the top, so you can actually make better walls much easier as well. The ranger outpost is actually not a bad shout if you don't mind being further away from the eastern side, which is where I want to go. Another good spot, especially if you want to use a lot of blueberries, is the ice cream cart ranger outpost. I actually used this in one of my videos to cheese the boss bee over this way. I didn't think it was preferable myself, but thought it was worth a mention just because it is quite close to a lot of good stuff, in particular things like the spicy sweets and some other bits and bobs that you can find around here. My favorite spot then, and we're going to go and take a look at this in a second, is the ranger outpost ceremony. Now I could go further to the east. There are quite a few creatures around here, so I do get quite a few encounters if I'm not careful. Although once I'm inside of my building and they can't see me, they don't actually aggro on you, so once you've created a safe building, it really isn't an issue. Now the reason I like this is because A, it's very close to a lot of stuff. So if I wanted to get a new spider, we are very close to where we get the spider eggs from. Additionally, we're close to this rock right here, which is the best bee farm in the game currently, so that's really good. To the north is the wolf spider, so if I want to farm the wolf spider, that's actually not too bad. He does sometimes come and visit me though, so if you don't want him visiting you, maybe you want to go a little bit further south. There are a lot of weeds around here. You won't see them. In fact, you can kind of see them. Look, there are a lot of dandelions around here, so building up around here is actually extremely easy, even when you're using some of the tougher to transport materials. And lastly, we are also pretty close to A, the hatchery anthill, and B, the Schlaps amplifier. The reason I like those is because ant hills are usually very good for upgrade materials, and the amplifier actually has sturdy variants of the upgrade materials under there, so we can actually be gathering and storing that ready for the next part of the game, where we can finally upgrade past tier 3 for the weaponry and armor. Additionally, when it comes to this spot, then you can see we actually have a good amount of space as well. So I've taken up a decent chunk of the space, just kind of building up my miniature home here. You make it look pretty good once you get some of the building sets starting to get unlocked. I need to flip that around. Plenty of space in the back, lots of stuff you can do. It's not like there's any form of limitation on how the base works. Oh, hello, I got a visitor. Let's take care of you. So you can always spread things a little bit further down the hill if you want to. You know, I quite like having the door poking underneath the root here. But either way, this is my pick for the best spot, or my favorite spot so far that I've seen in the game. I've obviously explored quite a lot of it. So if you guys have any spots of your own, feel free to share them down below, and hopefully I'll see you around.